Yeah, I heard there's gonna be a laser stuff.
Thank you. You will in a bit.
Dunlap Observatory opened in 1935, May 31st, 1935, 90 years ago. The observatory was like a passion project for David Dunlap. He was an amateur astronomer, but unfortunately, before they dedicated funds or like broke ground on the property, he passed away. So his wife, Jessie Dunlap, and his friend, Dr. Chant, provided the funds for the construction of this building and the observatory. It was part of University of Toronto's Department of Astronomy. So up until about the early 2000s, students would trek up and the bus would come all the way to 16th Avenue and they would have to walk up because this like sort of pathway did not exist. And before then it was all farmland, and then 2009 it was sold to developers, so they built houses around, and that's around the time when the telescope was, I guess, fully decommissioned for research. Now it's still fully functional. You can still look through it. Go to the nightly the nightly events, so the speaker night, up in the sky, housing night, and it's pretty cool. So you'll get to see it. And please follow me, and we'll go to the library then. My favorite room. Stripped from them. They have been taken off the UFT catalog, and they are, just for ambiance reasons. The furniture here is old, so please be careful. And right over there in the corner is a card catalog. So before computers, if you wanted to find a book, you'd have to rifle through the card catalog, find it, would have its location on it. It's empty now. They've just taken them all out. Yeah, so does anybody have questions? Also fun fact, the fireplace was never lit. It is attached to another fireplace upstairs. I'll show you that too. And then it's attached to the roof where the three domes are. So because those three domes also had telescopes in them, any smoke would obscure the view. So it would just make observation impossible. So please follow me upstairs. black holes in 1970. He was using that telescope, he was making observations, and he noticed that a star would be redshifted and blueshifted, but it was orbiting nothing. And then that's a black hole. Like a star can't orbit nothing. The black hole is Cygnus X1. It is in the constellation Cygnus near Sagittarius A. The constellation Sagittarius, and Sagittarius A star is our supermassive black hole, so the one that we're orbiting. And if you follow me to the other end of the hall, so all these rooms at some point were classrooms or offices. So behind here, these are some, I lost a few people. So these are a few famous people associated with the observatory. Behind this sign is the radio astronomy room. So along with this regular astronomy, there used to be a radio tower right behind the building, and the machines, like the equipment to operate that tower was in here. And in here was the dark room. So the telescope upstairs and the telescope over there, the big one, they could use attach cameras to it, and they would take big pictures of the night sky. Her mom, she took a lot of pictures. She photographed over 2,000 stars, and she created star charts, which we still have. They're not on display as of yet, but it's one of our crowning achievements. And yeah, that's where they were developed. Any questions so far? Nope. My lab is empty. But I guess for now, let me just double check. Claudia, is Y lab empty? Not yet. Okay. So I guess we can talk a bit about the architecture. So has anyone been down to St. George campus, UFT? If you ever go down there, you'll notice that the architecture is very similar. It was made in that style, the Beaux Art style of architecture. So it's like a lot of marble, a lot of stone. It's to sort of like keep everything cool. The radiators are also very old. Yeah. Nobody has any questions, feel free to kind of wander around for a bit. Also, the telescope on top of the roof, one of them, I can't remember if it's the South Telescope or the North Telescope, is in the Canadian History Museum in Ottawa. So if you ever go there and see the telescope, know that it's ours. You can start heading downstairs to my lab.
Can we go see the activities after?
Sure.
There's something down there, I promise. Also, no ghosts. There's no ghosts downstairs. Yes, but there's other things as well.
It's like a kite.
Something like that.
more people coming in. Got everybody? Yes, okay. Welcome. Did you all notice that there's like a big giant telescope outside? Yeah, you saw that? You didn't see it? You didn't see that there's a big giant telescope out there? No? Oh boy, okay. Optometrist tomorrow. All right. So, yeah, big giant telescope. It was built sometime around 1930, ordered by University of Toronto, and it was actually built in England by a company called Grubb Parsons. And they built the whole thing, put it together, then they took it all apart, put it on ships, brought it over, put it back up. Okay? 50-foot concrete base on like 100 feet of clay, so it's super stable. But what happens if something breaks or if they need a part? They don't want to wait for it to come from England. Costco and Walmart didn't exist back in 1934, and even if they did, I checked, they do not have giant telescope parts. Okay? So they had to do it themselves. So the basement here of the building is the historic workshops of the David Dunlap Observatory. Okay? Some of the equipment, like this lathe here, dates back to 1934. It was donated by Dr. Young of the University of Toronto. Dr. Young designed the big giant telescope. And I don't know if you noticed, the top of this building has 3 telescope domes. If you were allowed to go into the one at this end of the building, you would see in there a telescope that looks like a miniature of the big one. And that was the model for the big one built by Dr. Young. He was also a very good machinist. Okay? Now, this particular machine is still in perfect working order. How do we know this? Well, see, it says Y Lab. Y Lab is a group of hobbyists. We do this for fun. It's a makerspace. Any one of you can join. So we operate a makerspace with the permission of the city down here in the historic workshops. We have members who know this equipment, and we've checked it out. It is still in perfect working order, accurate to better than 1,000th of an inch for metalwork. Okay? And we teach people how to use it here. So I've gotten to use it. I've done some interesting stuff on it. Other members have as well. We have and we think this is in better shape than any other one in the world, because these machines would have been used very heavily in World War II, Korean War, to the point of being worn out. This one is exclusively here for the maintenance of the telescope, so it's very lightly used. So it is really like new. Okay? Now, so we have some historic equipment here. We also have some new modern equipment. So we had, when we started the group, the local company donated a laser cutter for us. Okay? Laser cutter does cool things like engraving on cutting boards. Anybody know that name?
Yeah.
Yes, Liao, my wife's family name. So, you know, so at Christmas time, right? Oh, Sisukung, Samsukung, Sisukpo, Ensukpo, they all want these. So they put his name on them. For those who don't know Chinese, that's the terms for all the aunts and uncles. Great aunts and uncles. Yeah, so we can do stuff like that. We can do more complex shapes. Notice all this complex tongue and groove, things like that. You know, this is a project to make a power supply for electronics using an old PC power supply. Works beautifully. Okay? And how do you learn to do that? We teach classes. So we have a 2-night class for laser cutting. The first night you learn to do all the CAD. So if you look over there, that's all the graduation plaques. Everybody had to design their own graduation plaque. They learned to do the shape precisely, fonts, graphics, everything. And with that class, you can then make stuff like this. And you can do complicated materials. The laser cutter will cut wood. Notice it's all blackened because it's burned. It is a laser, it is burning through. Very complex, detailed cuts, like down there for the triangles. Do plexiglass. Notice no burns on the plexiglass, because the plexiglass actually melts. But again, perfect corners, perfect little circles, and it cuts through that a lot faster than the wood. So, you take our class, you learn how to use it, join as a member, you can play with this. Okay? Small shapes, You can actually do pictures, we got a bear, okay? There's CAD programs online that help you do that stuff. We do a fair amount of metal work, so not just on the lathe. We teach sharpening, so I was sharpening some knives here. My wife said, "Oh, you're going into the PDO, sharpen these knives for me." Okay. We teach that. We teach sharpening, tool sharpening, a lot of different metal work on the lathe, on the equipment. We've got sheet metal bending equipment. And on the other side, you'll learn about some other classes we do as well. So essentially we are the ones operating this in the basement, and the city of Richmond Hill is very nice to us. It's been really great. We've been doing this as a group for almost 10 years. So if you're interested in learning technical stuff, it is for adults only. We started this because a lot of technical people in York region, but there was nothing after work. All the cool stuff was downtown. So we decided to get together as a group and start this. And as I like to say, it's to have other kids to play with, but big kids. Okay. Any questions? Oh, a couple of other things got mentioned. Look up top there, above your head. X-Wing fighter, all done on our laser cutter. Over there, that's foam board, all done on our laser cutter. And Colin in the other room builds these planes and flies them. So he's actually flown that one. It's a little damaged. That wasn't in Ukraine. That was damaged here. But if you go over there, you'll learn. He'll tell you all about that stuff and some of the other stuff we do with electronics and other things. So some of the stuff is low tech, some of it's high tech, and it's what members want to do and help each other. They come in to fix things, all kinds of stuff. Other questions?
How do we sign up for the class?
Email me, rj@ylab.ca. If you go to ylab.ca, you'll see a meetup group, and we don't have any classes on the schedule right now. We should have some within a week. Probably a knife sharpening class and a laser cutter class coming up. And you get a better price if you're a member. Okay? But you don't have to be a member to take the classes. But if you are a member, then you come in and we're open and use the equipment.
But do you require any previous experience?
No, we've all learned from each other. When we started, I didn't know CAD, stuff like that, and I've taught I've taught from the classes now. Practice, I've been teaching the knife sharpening class, which I didn't know how to do before starting. Okay, and these are really, really sharp. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, you ought to move on to the room on the other side. Put your head on that side of the roof.
Father, so.
Okay, so this is the second room on your tour of YLab. This is the room where we keep some of our smaller pieces of equipment and teach courses. You can see behind you several sewing machines, solder station for the electronics, and 3D printers, one of which is operational here. We also teach courses on a number of wide range of topics, from making soap to sharpening knives, to programming Arduino computers, and to using the laser cutter, the software for the laser cutter next door. People join in order to use the equipment, you have to be a member of YLab. To attend our courses, you can just follow and organize to come and see, sit in on one. People join YLab for a number of reasons. Part of it is to share information and to meet people who have similar interests. And the other is they come to fix things that they have at home, they need to make parts for, they have hobbies, they have other interests that they use it for. As an example, I have Colin here, who is a specialist in remote control aircraft, and he will tell you quite how he used all the pieces of equipment to make this aircraft.
So, I don't know if you guys saw the Spitfire in the other room, it's hanging on the ceiling. So that started its life as dollar store phone board. So you can take the dollar store phone board, you put it in the laser goes through, cuts all the outlines, dots the lines where you need to fold and bend, and then so you take this and you would actually pop out the thing, bend it over, and hot glue this together. So there's your wing, spars, made out of foam board, hot glued together. You glue all that in, slide it in here, and you make your airframe. So the benefits of here was that this aircraft right there is dollar store foam board. It's been covered in glue and paint to make it waterproof. But yes, so the plane was made out of foam board that would be made on the laser here. The spinner and the camera mount that's holding this camera is actually made out on the 3D printers. And so I can make this airframe for under $20. I can print a plane for $20. Now the electronics that go inside, of course, are quite a bit more, unfortunately. But in the event of a crash, you can just take the electronics back out, move it over to the next plane. So they would go with you from crash to crash, whereas the airframes are just cheap and easy to make. And you can make different kinds of planes, like either, the tutor to the warbird. So that was my own personal thing here with the Y Lab, was I joined so that I could use their equipment here, the soldering station, the 3D printers, the laser to produce this kind of stuff. And then since then I've used the facilities here to repair a KitchenAid mixer, where I had to replace a gear inside, and these guys helped me disassemble it, find that gear, order another one on Amazon, reassemble the mixer, put it back together. So I just use this maker space to further my hobby and to build more interesting things. So the two pieces that were handed around were printed in two different forms. One of them was printed here, like this one here. It's printed by taking plastic filament, running it through a hot end, and melting it into string. Whereas the other one was printed here, it started life as a liquid, and it just flashes a UV light that hardens it. And it literally rises out of the goo as the light flashes from below, adding more and more layers to it. So that's why one part is completely different. Like the design's the same, but the actual material they're made out of is completely different. So as part of a Y Lab, you would join up, we teach you how to use these printers. You would take your filament and your memory card, you can go online, and it's like thingiverse.com, and you download somebody else's plan. You go on tinkercad.com, you design your own object, bring that memory card here, use these printers to print out whatever you want. And so we teach that, along with teaching you how to use the laser and teaching you how to use all this equipment. And then your membership just come in, build and fix. So, yeah, so that being said, is there any questions? Or are they going to move you on to the next? Yeah. So if you are interested in taking our courses or using our equipment, this form, just take a picture of this on your way out. It outlines the membership fees, what some of the courses cost, like you do the knife making, the salt making, whatever. You do not need to be a member to take one of those courses, but you do need to be a member to stay around and use our facilities. So yeah, feel free to take a picture on the way out, and if there's any other questions, we'll handle it. These guys are going to move you on to the dome next. You're going to see the telescope.
Take it off of all my first. Tinkercad, have you ever used it? You should use it, it's really easy to use. Oh yeah, I showed you the app before, but I never taught you how to use it. Papa, Papa, oh, they have Discord. Oh, this week, no, for this, actually I'm seeing next Thursday, we are going to and then after that Thursday we're going to stream center. That's how many times we're going to go to stream in a year. We're going to stream 3 times. I know that.
That's what I want to see with my own eyes.
Oh, thanks.
冇 light pollution 嘅，花而家全
Robert,
部
can
都
I see
標晒
this? Robert, can I see? I still don't see the telescope. Oh,
telescope right there.
oh.
The blue thing 咪係咯，我影個 blue thing 啊。
Well, I didn't see it on the way here.
呢個好多人 telescope 嚟㗎嘛。
I'm trying to avoid as much pollen as I can before pollen gets on my shoes. Why are they screaming blue bubbles?
Nice and cool in here. Well, welcome everybody to the Dome. This is where all the magic happens. This is the best spot on the property, I have to say. What you're looking at here, this big piece of cement, is the pier that the telescope is actually mounted on. And this was the only thing that was manufactured here in Canada. The rest of it was made in Newcastle on Tyne, England, which is a shipbuilding community. They built a lot of ships during the war and before the war, and I think they still do some shipbuilding. If you look around, you see the metal walls, very reminiscent of the old classic ships and putting the rivets and things. One thing you'll notice about the walls is they're hollow, so we bend them. There's nothing in between. There's about 12 inches of air, and the reason for that is climate control. So that we keep a very stable, steady temperature inside compared to outside, so that when we're observing, we don't have any distortions or apparitions from heat waves and stuff that are floating up in front of the telescope. And then on that note, why don't we go take a look at the telescope?
Yeah, let's go see the reason why you guys are all here. Yeah, look at Canada's largest telescope. Isn't that funny? You guys are holding on to the handrail?
Take a picture.
What do you guys think so far? Just so everybody's clear, because we're going to give a demonstration of how the telescope moves. And just to be clear, this thing is 24 tons. So if you guys get hit by it, it's not going to start. This thing weighs more than a tank. So this thing is very heavy. Alright, so with everyone here, I'll just give you guys a brief introduction on how the telescope works. So it's Canada's second oldest and largest telescope. So basically how it works is that with the dome open, dome slit, we take 74 inches, which is the size of the telescope, the width, of light from the sky. So it'll come all the way down to the telescope, down to this dark blue area here, and that is the main primary mirror. And what happens after that is just it takes the light and sends it back up the telescope until you guys can see that mirror up there near the center of the telescope up there. That then recondenses the light, sends it all the way back down here up into here where there's usually supposed to be an ocular eyepiece where we can look through it and see the sky. But we'll just remove that for now. And yeah, so in order to move the telescope, we use pretty complicated techniques called button pressing. Right? So there's 4 buttons, and you have to take, it's 1 in 4 chance of getting the button right. So if you want to move it up, you press the other button. Very Down. Back down. Wonderful. New astronomers in there. Alright, and most of the sky doesn't just exist in this small section, and so we have to move the telescope around. So let's do a quick demonstration.
Oh, it's tiny.
There's 24 of them all around this dome, which allows the dome to move a full 360 degrees. And so that way we can see anything in the night sky, no matter the elevation or the direction, so astronomers can really see anything that they really want to see. And so with that, we're going to move to a Q&A, where you guys can just take a look, explore, just request that you guys don't touch anything. Before you get your body.
It's really so expensive.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions about how the dome works, where it's built, anything, we're happy to answer. So, you have a question?
Yeah, can it go 90 degrees? It does. Yes. It does. But really, we only do that if we're cleaning the mirror. Okay. So because if you clean the primary mirror, you actually have to remove the whole back of this telescope. And then what they'll do is they'll put the 90 degrees, you can bring over this trapdoor, and then they'll take it and they'll have a big elevator that comes out and grabs this 2.5 ton 76-inch by 12 piece of hydro, lowers it down to the floor. Unfortunately, we can't just go up there with some Windex and a big towel, so it requires a lot of effort to do that.
How often do you guys have to do the big?
Well, it's been probably about 20 years since they've actually done it, like in terms of the.
Yeah, when it was used back for actual research purposes, and it would be cleaned every 1.5 years. So yeah, 1.5 years. The process takes about 2 hours.
The pegging legal. Right? The pegging illegal.
Exactly.
But for now, it no longer does research. Now it's actually the largest optical telescope used in the world, used for the purpose of public outreach and public education. So, any more questions? Crow's nest up there. Also can be operated in 2 ways. One can either being in the air, or another one can be up at the top, which we call the Newtonian focus. That's how Newton used his telescope. And so if we were to set up a telescope like that, that would just be a ladder to climb up there so that they can see it. Yes.
What happens if it rains?
If it's raining, all we do is just we close the dome, and we always leave it closed unless we're opening it to show, to use it or to show the dome. So as soon as we're done here,
This body already limit, we would not shutters, just take it.
because the rain, snow, whatever, could damage the lens. We wouldn't want that. Any other questions?
Is there lots of impact by light pollution?
Nowadays, however, there's been a lot more light pollution, but we're still able to show the public, if you come out to see our full guides, we sometimes at night we'll let you guys look through the telescope or train on our object. We can see basically any planet in the solar system, and a few stars and constellations, which we do, but it's not as clear as it used to be. But still, it's still amazing. You can see every crater on the It's still very powerful. And with that, I actually thought I'd let you guys know if you guys want to be here, because we can only do like 15-minute tours, like very time precise. If you guys want to be here and see everything, how everything really works, you guys can check us out at the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. We have our business cards on the table there if you guys want to check what's on websites and stuff, because we do host full tours here once again. Whether it's you guys take a look through the telescope, and we do so much more cool things because everything I mentioned really just scratches the surface of the power of the telescope. So once again, if you guys want to get once again, I'm also
You got one too, I don't know
how we track our time. And so what we did is we took the entire sky and then we condensed it into 24 hours. Because, for example, if the moon was right in front of me, I'm training my telescope at the moon, what will happen after 5 minutes? It will move. And so what we're going to do, so we break it down into hours, minutes, and seconds. And so the telescope can keep locked in at a certain object, and the number of hours, minutes, seconds. So after a certain amount of seconds, the telescope moves that number of seconds over. So we keep locked on this one target throughout the night, which is great because it would get pretty annoying having to adjust the telescope every few minutes. And so this actually is 90 years old, as old as this telescope. Has never been touched, removed, replaced. Everything. It's still been keeping track of the exact number of times. 24 hours, 56 minutes, 43 seconds every day. And it's been keeping.
It's still taking.
Still taking that. Same with this motor. Another 9-year-old antique piece of equipment. It's been helping us move the telescope for 90 years, and it's still going. It's still in perfect condition, which is great. So really antique. Is there any questions?
You're welcome to explore the other side.
You guys can look around. There's more to the observatory. There's this.
Is there a particular magnification that it's going to?
I'm trying to remember.
I think it's like kind of like fixed or.
Yeah, well, it depends on your eyepiece, right? I mean, yes. Meetings here.
That's also very helpful.
Well, through the Royal Astronomical Society, right? We are.
Where does the image of the telescope show up?
Pardon?
Where does the image of the telescope show up?
The image of the telescope?
Yeah.
So,
You will see.
are you referring to now or all those years ago?
Like when you were watching it from the telescope? Like,
So once again, we put an optical eyepiece up right up here, but for now we took it out because we're not showing anyone what's in it yet.
Oh, I see.
Once again, if you come out to one of our nights, we'll show you. But we'll do that, and then it also shows up on our monitor there.
okay.
Oh yeah, okay. Everyone, thank you so much for coming. We just have another group showing up now, and so we're just requesting that you guys maybe head out. We thank you all so much for coming. Once again, if you want to have more time here, I know it felt super short. But if you want to be here, so thank you guys so much for coming.
Holy stuff, They're making their monitors and stuff like that.
I thought it was on phones and iPads and laptops.
Thank you. 김석이가 또
I want to see what that stuff is.
토끼가 telescope like 1, 2, 3.
So we have solar telescopes, there's one over there in the distance. So, one of them is for viewing sunspots, viewing hydrogen. So both of them are pointed at the sun. And then we recommend people taking a look at both. They're both pretty interesting. Just pick whichever one you're more interested in.
How do you even look at
These ones are just demonstrations. So these ones are actually for the night stars, and there's not enough sunspots. So just grab onto the ladder or chairs provided. Try not to touch the telescope because that's going to ruin calibration. And then, yeah, we recommend how you take a look at both because they're both pretty interesting. 然后有任何说普通话的话，我可以用普通话来跟你解释一下。
Bilingualism is very important.
These ones do not work for now. These are just demonstrations. But these ones are for